Body kick again.
All through every word, Warriors' voice will be heard. Whoa. That's right.
Boom! You already know what time it is, baby. It is the Warriors' Voice. It's Friday, 12 p.m. This is episode 28, I think. I ain't had a lot of sleep, baby. I'm in Miami.
A lot of freaking episodes.
It's a lot of freaking
You should
episodes.
count,
We've
that's
been
a good
doing
thing.
it. We're not counting no more, man. I think it's episode 28. I want to say it is. I am absolutely flustered right now. I haven't had a lot of sleep since I got to Miami. I'm in Miami for UFC 314. Insane shit going on here right now. Had a very exciting day yesterday. Went to the press conference. We got a lot to talk about today. And we got some interesting things, bro. But before I kick everything off, you already know I got to say what's up to my co-host. I got MMA Pickers and Mallory Woods with me today.
Hey.
How y'all feeling, bros?
Good. Friday. Love it.
TGIF.
There you go, baby. Thank God it's Friday. And now I want some Fridays that you said that. Like, I really want, like, some actual Fridays or Applebee's. Either one will work. Let's jump into it, man. It's a bunch of topics today. We're gonna this one's gonna be a little different. Like, I'm out of town, so I'm not in my regular setup, so we won't have a lot of screen share stuff today, but we're gonna have some good conversation. And I think the best thing to start off with is UFC 314. We have out here in Miami where I'm at right now. I wish I could show y'all the beautiful view, but the sun is a little weird, so I'm actually under an umbrella.
Reflection.
I'm on some Michael Jackson shit right now. I actually have a little umbrella right here.
It's 45 degrees and raining here in Baltimore.
Oh, man.
So,
Oh geez, guys. Well, I'm gonna enjoy this heat for you. It's hot as shit out here. I'm sweating. You see, I got on beaters. I've been in tank top weather the whole time. But UFC 314, exciting, man. We have Diego Lopes versus Volkanovski for the main event. Super exciting. Had the press conference yesterday, and a lot of shit happened in the press conference. A lot of stuff happened. I think one thing I want to start with, Yair Rodriguez and Diego Lopes actually had a little back and forth. I want MMA Pickers. He's got a better little knowledge on the situation and the backstory, so I'll let him give the backstory, and then we'll kind of go back and forth on that. So
yeah, I actually just did a deep dive on this. So this actually started back when Diego Lopes was the featherweight champion at Lux or LUX, which is a promotion in Mexico. And the 135-pound champ was a teammate of Yair Rodriguez's. And they had gotten into it prior to the press conference. I believe the first fight was canceled due to Diego not being able to make the weight. But then the second fight went on. Diego won. The beef seemed to have settled down for a little bit. But then I believe a year down the road from that point, another teammate of Diego Lopes's was contending for the featherweight belt. Also missed weight, and the fight got canceled. Things really seem to have blown up from there. That's part of what they were yelling about in the press conference. These are all from third-party MMA media outlets, so take whatever I say with a grain of salt. This is obviously like a very new situation that just happened last night, so there is limited information. But it does seem to stem from a rivalry between the two teams at Lux or LUX in Mexico City.
Yeah. And insane. I actually have, like, if you see, guys, I was actually there. I can't actually screen share today, but you can actually see, like, this is them arguing.
That's screen sharing. That is
Sharing my phone.
Screen sharing.
Yeah, so that was them in a heated argument, and it was very heated. And honestly, like, it got to the point where, if you guys were watching the press conference yesterday, because it was there, and like, it got to the point where they literally had to have like 2 security guards on each guys, and then they just started continuing the press conference while they were arguing in the background. So they're just like, whatever, like, we're just gonna continue, keep going. Like, they kept trying to have questions go on, and I think it was one of the Spanish media guys that was there, Spanish-speaking MMA media guys that was there, and he was having a hard time getting his question off because it was so much going on with that. So insane, man. I mean, do we want to see them fight again? Like, now with all of this heat up? I mean, Diego obviously said he didn't want to fight him, right? A lot of it, and that was a lot of things too. Like, everybody there outside of the Spanish-speaking community were all there like this. We're like, what's going on? We got like one line of translation, and he was like, "Don't talk about my team," and then that was it. And we're like, "Where does all this on the cliffhanger?" Yeah, we're like, "What the hell's going on here?" So it was good to get context afterwards, but yeah, man, crazy. Diego Lopes is, I mean, he's fighting for the belt now, right? Yair's been around for a bit. I seen Yair fight in Mexico City. and he's great. He's a great fighter, but he does have a great point, right? You took 2 L's, right? I'm fighting for the belt right now, right? You got to kind of get that step back up, beat a guy or two, and then call my name out, right? Yair is at the top of things, right? He's still at the top of the division. He still has an opportunity to get that, and that would be a new matchup on the championship level to see them two fight. But Mallory, what's your take on this whole situation?
I want to begin with a question. So, what was the whole vibe of the whole presser when these two started going back? Because usually, when something like this pops off, it's never at like an opportune time. Like you said, there's somebody there asking a question, just trying to get some information, and then things just go off. But what was the vibe? What is it like in press row? Are they just like, oh shoot, we're just gonna let this happen?
Yeah, it
Or
was tense. It was super tense, man. And the even crazier thing was, and I'll get to the other family that I was sitting in front of, and once we get to the other segment, but the family that was in front of me, because I'm in the sponsor section, and the sponsors sit directly behind the fighters' families.
right,
Yair's family was right here, beside me, in front of me. So when everything started happening, you kind of see all of them stand up. It's like very tense situation, and like I said, the security were very tense. They were like trying to get it all settled, but those guys were really heated. Like it was. I mean, that video that I have is a minute long. That
Mhm.
video is them arguing for 1 minute and 8 seconds. And then the other video I have over here is another 41 seconds of them arguing, right? So you're talking about 2 minutes in total of airtime on a press conference, which isn't normal, right? Uh,
Right.
when it comes to that. So it was very tense, bro. I mean, even I think John Anik was a little like, he was in the middle of the whole thing. So
Right.
like he's like, I really don't know what to do here, man. And John Ennick's not a huge guy, right?
Right. He ain't jumping in and holding
Hell no.
nobody back, but you also don't want to be in the middle. It reminds me of, and I can't remember the brother's name that was in the middle of DC, John Jones. But there's one
Oh,
screenshot where he's just like,
yeah.
and you
That wasn't Dana?
It wasn't Dana. No, it wasn't Dana. No,
Okay.
John Jones and Rumble staged a kind of like
Yes.
funny thing, which was hilarious.
That
which
was
actually
Dana.
hilarious.
Yeah.
That was great. That was staged and everything. But to kind of bring it back to this. So when that happens, right, it's crazy because things go off the rail. And shout out to my Latin brothers. They're very passionate. They get up there, they start going, man. It's just like you're bringing up things like, and great job on Pickers and digging a lot of this stuff up. But what I want to kind of, and actually where I have this pause on my monitor right here is I'm looking at the back of Volk's head. Volk is kind of like, I'm your opponent, and he's kind of like seeing what's going on. And the thing is also, this buildup has been, these two guys walked out together at a UFC event. There's no beef. There's no, I'm going to do this and that. And anyway, like, from meeting Volk for the 30 seconds that I met him, really nice dude, humble, down to earth. And Diego seems to be the same way as well.
Yeah.
What I find to be a little distracting is that if your opponent is opponent A, but you're beefing with, fighter B, your focus is not on a guy who's very dangerous that is in front of you.
Exactly.
And it's taking a little bit of focus away because obviously these two guys are very passionate about what happened, what will happen in the future.
100% agree. 100% agree, bro. And
Yeah.
and I want to get to that too, to what you were saying. I'm sorry. Do you want to finish up?
Yeah, one last follow up. And this may go into this. Now that you see what happens, do you now, no matter what happens in this division, who wins on Saturday, do you try to book these two? Do you go ahead and just make it happen in the UFC?
If Yair makes a outstanding performance tonight, tomorrow night. Granted, he does that. Granted, Diego wins. And there isn't somebody as worthy as Yair to take the next shot. I think MMA pickers probably have a better idea of that than me.
Most far.
Then yeah, I mean, you're going to get a lot of virality off of those clips. It's going to bring a lot of questions up. I mean, we're talking about it today. I'm pretty sure we won't be the only MMA podcast or media news outlet talking about it at all today. It will be a lot of us, majority of all of us, right? So it could be a big fight to make for sure. And I think that's a great point. I think more of it's going to be on the side of Diego Lopes because we already know his sentiment, right? So I think Yair has to impress not only Mick Maynard, Sean Shelby, but Diego Lopes because obviously right now he is not he's not sold on the fact that you're a worthy fighter to him. He's beaten you. You lost your last 2 fights. He feels like he's on a rise, and you're on the exact opposite. So that's a great question, Mal. That's a great question. And what I was about to get into, like kind of panning off what you were saying with the whole Volkanovski thing, as a Volkanovski fan and as MMA and UFC fan sitting at a press conference where we have an absolute fucking legend sitting in front of us, who ran the division for 4 fucking years, who was the G of a human being, who took fights against the pound for pounds, the best of the best on short notice, all the time, never strayed away from something. And I mean, 75% of the press conference to 80% of the press conference was nothing about Volkanovski and Diego Lopes. We got more out of Yair and Diego Lopes than we did out of actual Volkanovski and Diego Lopes. And shout out, I don't know exactly which MMA guy was at the end, but shout out him. And it's kind of crazy. We actually made it's a picture right here, where it's me and my boy, and this is right, and this is on and this is for Volk. It's crazy, and. This is for Volkanovski when he said, "Hey, listen, like we got the fucking champ here. Like we have, like regardless of what you want to say, you can never take championship status away from him because of what he's done, right? And we have him right here in front of us. Like, make some noise. Like, what is going on here? And I'm glad that he kind of brought it back because it's like, dude, like I love all of those guys on that stage, man. Like, and it's a freaking stacked card. It's beautiful. Minus the fact Carlos Prats got pulled off the card. Alberto Montez as well is not on the card as well. One of my fighters that I know personally that I wanted to see fight. He won't be on this one.
This was going to be his debut, right?
It was going to be his debut, but it's a good reason why he's not. I don't want to speak on it because I don't know if it's public, but it's a good thing, and he'll come back strong for his debut when he does get that chance. But yeah, man, this card is stacked, right? And I can understand the sentiment around all of this stuff. You got the huge thing around Gene Silva and Bryce Mitchell. We'll get into that next. And then the whole thing with Yair and Diego Lopes happened. And so it's like, for me, it was like I felt like it was a disservice to Volkanovski at that press conference for him being the main event, right? And he is the main event. He is A-side, 100% A-side. You cannot take that away from him. I don't think it's many people that will be A-side over him in the division if he went up against him. So I want to say shout out that MMA media guy. I don't remember what his name was. He had the black shirt on. He was at the end. He really brought it back home and like, yo, listen, like we got an absolute legend in front of us. This may be the last time we actually see him fight. Why are we talking about nonsense that happened outside of the UFC, right? So totally agree on that, Mallory. And shout out my boy Volk, man. I can't wait. As a Volkanovski fan, can't wait to hear that man down under live in person. I will be dancing. I'll probably post a video of me just grooving as my boy come out. And I'm super excited to see that. But what I want to jump into is, because we're still talking about press conference debacles, we have to get into it, right? Gene Silva, Bryce Mitchell, we've been talking about this shit forever. But it's one of the biggest things that's in this whole card, right? First off, I do want to say Gene Silva, he had missed weight, but then he made it, right, Pickers?
Yep, he made weight.
Yeah.
He missed weight by a pound. He had an hour. He made weight. I don't understand why everyone made such a big deal out of that. It happens all the time.
Yeah. So he made weight. So the fight is on. Everything's good to go. Gene Silva is still the favorite in this one. I think it was a minus 205 when we looked at it. But the other family that I was sitting in front of was Bryce Mitchell's family. And I may have happened to boo a little bit when they said his name. And I may have got a few turned arounds.
I was going to say, did you get?
Yeah, I got one of these. I got one of, and I honestly,
who is that?
Hold on, I think it was his wife. Let me see. Doesn't he have 2 kids?
Actually, I'm not sure. I have not done a deep dive for Mitchell.
I know they had like 2 babies with them, and it was a lady, and it was like probably had like 8. He probably had 6 to 8 family members right here on this side of me, in front of me.
At this point,
yeah. And then, but I mean, they were going crazy. Honestly, contrary to belief, he had a shit ton of people supporting him there.
Right.
Like,
one half a suggestion, and again, I wasn't at the event, and I wouldn't have been there and surrounded by all of native Arkansas, people and everything. But you got to embrace your heel villain role at that point. If you're gonna boo loud. Go ahead, boo. Just get spit out. Boo. Get all of it's kind of hard. B doesn't quite produce the spit symbols, but just boo. And when it come get you, just outrun them. That's my advice. I'm not going to do that next time, but that's my advice to me to you.
Yeah. Yeah, I gotta pay attention who's in front of me. The last time it worked out, I was cheering for Dustin Poirier, and
Nah,
his wife was in front
I'm
of me.
biased. I'm all for it. You can boo him as
No,
much as
I
you
know,
want.
and I kind of booed a little bit for you, like a little bit was for you. You know what I mean? I knew, but it was cool, bro. Like at the end of the day, what I feel like is like you gotta take that, right? Like you said, like you gotta expect that. It's
Mhm.
something that comes with the fight game. Your guy's going against another guy. There's obviously going to be opposition sides, right?
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And be cool about it. Like, and it's crazy because I was booing him, but when Bryce had good comebacks, I fucking laughed. I was slapping my knee when he said the shit about the dog. That shit was absolutely hilarious. And my brother was like, yo, that was so funny. He's like, hey, man, dogs come down to my farm all the time. I'm trying to hurt my family. And same thing they all do for their dogs. They squeal. I'm not going to lie. That was one of the best comebacks he's ever said. It was smooth as shit. He stared directly into the camera. It was so stoic. I loved it. Bryce was definitely selling the fight yesterday. He had a lot of
I was
good
just
comebacks.
proud of him. Yeah, he put a
Huh?
full sentence together, and I was just proud of him for that.
Exactly. And then
Sorry.
on the contrary, I give a disservice to Gene Silva because I feel like because he doesn't speak English, it feels like, and like MMA Pickers was saying this earlier, he lost a little bit of aura in that back and forth with Bryce Mitchell.
Mhm.
And he did because it kind of sucks when a guy is speaking to a majority English speaking crowd, which maybe it was half because it was a lot of Spanish speaking people in there. I'll say that. I don't know exactly where they were from. I don't want to generalize, but
Right,
it's a
right.
lot of people who either speak Portuguese or Spanish there. But also majority I feel like speak English, and then they live here, so they probably speak English. So they're gonna be able to hear both sides of Bryce Mitchell. So I feel like that, man, but I think he has to come in and just perform, right? Um, the question is who wins this. I actually had a conversation with quite a few very well known voices in the space. I had to talk with Dean Thomas, um, and he's told me like Bryce's pathway to victory is literally to just wrestle him to death and
Hmm.
just smother him. Um, and to be honest, I think me and Pickers both like landed on it. Like we were talking about our bets earlier. It's like, I mean, Bryce Mitchell decision is not something that's far fetched, right? You could see him wrestle him, hold him down, kind of like pull a. I wouldn't say as far as a Marab, maybe more a Bilal kind of situation, and just kind of like just wear him down, right? Um, but if Gene Silva gets one good shot, bro,
We,
holy.
we've seen Bryce stretch before.
Yes,
He's
I lost
exhausted.
$100 to Bryce getting stretched as I walked into fucking T-Mobile Stadium. So yeah, I know the first leg of my parlay, bro. Literally, as I walk in, he gets knocked out
Bam!
by Josh Emmett. Boom. I'm like, what the shit? He's convulsing on the damn canvas. I'm throwing my ticket away. I don't even care anymore. I'm just here for it now. But yeah, man, it's gonna be interesting, man. It's gonna be interesting. Um, Now, I tell you this. John has been training at Ghost Shed. I also talked to Awesome and the rest of the guys that have been training with him at the gym.
Mhm.
And he's an absolute beast, they say. I actually haven't got to catch him. I was there with Kayo. I didn't get to catch John Silver while he was there at all. But they were telling me, like, man, that dude's a beast. He can wrestle. He's not an absolute slouch when it comes to that department. So it could be interesting to see. Also, another interesting thing was Bryce reached out to work out at Ghost Shed
Oh,
after the whole debacle, which was absolutely odd to me, but it was denied, and I don't know if it was sheer off of just the whole karate combat situation or if the fact that the fighting nerds are already going to be training there, right? And it's a little weird they're fighting each other, right? You
right.
don't want to kind of have those two crossing paths or have a debacle in the gym. The gym's already a wild house, right? It's already a madhouse. Like the Goat Shed is absolutely insane. Like I've been to a lot of gyms. It's like a mixture of a gym and a fucking club and fight club, like all together. Like it's just absolutely insane. So John's been working out there and I heard a lot of good shit about him. Also, on the contrary, Aljamain Sterling's been working out at Goat Shed, and me and him had a conversation about Bryce Mitchell, and he told me that Bryce Mitchell is very much stronger than we think he is.
Mhm.
He said, I've wrestled with a lot of guys. he is one of the strongest guys I've ever wrestled with. He's real farm boy strength.
Wiry
Like,
strength, man.
Yeah,
Just,
yeah.
yeah.
Is no joke. So, dude, like it could go either way, man. Pickers, I know you've been looking at your stuff and you probably give your bets later, but like I know where you want this fight to end, and I think I know we all know where we want this fight to kind of end with a beautiful knockout by one of the fighting nerds. But what's your sentiment right now, man? How are you going in? What are you hedging this? What we doing?
I love all this doubt of Gene Silva because the betting line has gone from like a minus 470 Gene Silva to a minus 205, and the knockout's now at plus money. So I haven't even put my bet in yet. I'm really, really happy with all this talk. It's really going to help me financially when Gene Silva puts Bryce Mitchell on his back unconscious.
Amazing. If I'm in now, I had the Birdman row. We getting that money.
No, but on a more serious note, the biggest problem I see for Bryce Mitchell. Look, Bryce Mitchell gets hands on and holds him down. We have seen some good counter wrestling from Gene Silva, especially in the Charles Jourdain fight. Which, yes, Charles Jourdain isn't half the grappler Bryce Mitchell is, but he is a weight class up and significantly larger to address the strength element. But I think the problem for Bryce Mitchell is going to be Gene Silva's striking and footwork. There's so many levels ahead of Bryce Mitchell's that responsibly setting up the takedowns is going to be a big challenge. And if you're out of position, I mean, yeah, Gene Silva's a crazy man. Gene Silva barks like a dog, but he's also a sniper. And we've seen that time and time again. He is deadly accurate, and he is fast. I mean, that guy is all fast twitch muscle fiber. I think the combination of his both volume and power striking and his superior footwork is going to make it very, very hard for Bryce Mitchell to not have to take a risk. And I think we'll see a situation where Bryce Mitchell takes that risk. And same thing that'll happen to him that happened against him with Josh Emmett. I think we're going to see a real, real nasty knockout. And yes, I'm 100% biased, so tail with caution.
At least he's honest, man.
He's honest bias. What more can you ask for, you know?
Yeah. Hey, listen,
Most of the time I'm not biased, but I'm biased here, guys.
I'll tell you this. It will be a lot of bias in that building. It's quite a few Jewish. I met these guys. Shout out MMA Delinquents, media company out of, I love it too. They're out of Boston, a bunch of Boston guys. But one of the guys behind me had a ice.
Oh, your mic cut.
I lost
your mic cut. Your mic cut.
You're getting censored.
Yeah, the powers that be. Oh my gosh, they got to us finally. You know, plan 23. Let's go. Let me see. There we go. We got you.
All right, cool. I had to plug it in. It died on me. All right, whatever.
It was right before you were describing what he was wearing.
Who was wearing shit?
The guy behind you said he had an iced out and it just.
Oh, he had an iced out Star David.
Oh, okay.
Biggest shit, dude. It was a golden Star David. It's iced out, dude. So, and if you know anything about the Miami layout, there's a lot of my Jewish friends out here. They're very heavily based. So, I mean, dude, it's gonna be a split house, man. It's gonna be a split house in there for sure. But it's also some more exciting fights on this card, and also somebody else I want to talk about that was at Goshen. Goshen has been an absolute madhouse this week, like I said, right? A lot of guys have been in town for UFC, so a lot of guys been working out there, and another person that's been working out there that looked absolutely fucking amazing when I seen him in there, Paddy Pimblett.
Hey, can I make a public service announcement real quick?
Let's go.
Okay, first of all, I'd like to publicly say, all right, thanks to my man Steve Jeffs on Twitter and also Dave, and I gotta remember Dave's last name. He does the artwork. Okay, Dave converted me to a Paddy Pimblett fan because I didn't like Paddy Pimblett. It was something about him like taking no skills into effect, taking no performance. It was like, I don't like him. I'm not feeling it. I am now a Paddy Pimblett fan because of not only what he's done in the ring is knowledge, acknowledged, but Steve has had a lot of tragedy in his life. And he showed me how Paddy has literally reached out to him. He was talking about Steve when he gave a shout out for the loss of his son way back in one of the England POVs, or it might have been a fight night. But still, I kind of got to give it to the guy now for like I see through that. So there's my public apology. Put me on the Paddy Pimblett fan. Hey, if the guy's apologizing when his dog takes a liquid exit in front of your house, you remember that a couple of years ago, he rang somebody's zips like, my dog just had a wicked shit right here, and he just explained to you because that's the worst to kind of clean up unless you got a squeegee and a bag of paper towels. But fan of Patty Pimblett publicly acknowledged pulling for Patty now.
Let's go, man. I'm not gonna lie, dude. I'm definitely rocking with Pat as well. He made me a fan because he beat a lot of the guys that I like. And if you can do that, you can make me a fan of you, man. Because if I like those guys, the reason I like those guys is the same reason why you beat those guys, right? For the most part. Now his personality, it's a little something to get with. But I can tell you, and I didn't meet him like he shook my hand, like I told him like what's up, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. We didn't have any long conversations. He came in and kind of straight got to work, but was really chill, real humble. He was talking to all the guys. He spoke to everybody in the gym when he came in. It was more of a private session for him. It was later at night. And also the UFC was there doing embedded. So we didn't have a lot of people there. So actually you might see me have another cameo, maybe on UFC embedded. You might see a shoulder or something. I don't know. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I ain't got much airtime, but I might be there. But yeah, they were shooting embedded there. That was super dope to see that. And to have the guys come through and just show like how he was, and before the cameras were even on, right? Like I said, like
so it's not a camera thing.
It's not a camera thing. These are before the cameras was on. He came in there, he spoke to every last one of us as he walked in, and I mean, from the guy who actually runs the gym, shout out Hanzo, who runs the gym, who helps, like he's one of the like basically the gym manager, right? From him to all the way to coach, right? To awesome. So I don't know, freaking hair like right there in my mouth. Okay, there we go, I got it. So it's super chill dude, and looked amazing. Striking. I ain't gonna lie, bro. I seen Kaio, Aljo, and Patty. No, I don't think Patty worked out with Mango, but the Goat Shed striking coach. But Aljo and Kaio definitely did it with him, and I think Gene as well. But dude, I say, explosive hits. He's sounding good. He's looking strong. He's looking clean. Very composed. And I mean, when you train for about an hour to straight UK drill music and Uncle Murder, I'm pretty sure I know what you got in your mind coming into the fight.
Oh man,
the first song he played was Uncle Murder. It fucked me up, dude. I was like, look, I lived in Brooklyn, right? I consider myself a Brooklynite. You know what I mean? I've grown up listening to Uncle Murder. This is a guy who got shot in the head, a gangbanger from New York. That's underground. What the fuck does Patty Pimblett know about him? Only gangsters know about this. So I'm telling you, if it's his first song that he cut on and he literally went to it, I saw him scroll, click, and it came on and I heard New York.
This is how we're beginning. Like, let's see. All right.
I'm like, oh yeah.
That's it.
Patty's on some shit. So I'm telling you right now, Michael Chandler, love you. Very, very exhilarating fighter. Patty's coming, bro.
Question about Goat Shed, real quick, just to interject in here. Do we now count Goat Shed as one of the stops for MMA gyms, sort of like Extreme Couture, MMA Lab, and everything? Have they established themselves to be that?
100%. I this is the direction it's going, and I think it takes off even more once the Bonk Stadium and Performance Center is built, because that opens up. And I would say it would be smart, knowing that what they're doing now, to open up these private facilities or private parts of the gym where they can bring in these guys to do UFC embedded. I think Miami's a hot spot. They're here every year, at least once or twice a year, right? And it's a massive spot for people to come down and train, because there's a lot of guys down here. You got ATT, you got Kill Cliff, you got Goat Shed, you got all of these other gyms out here.
Is way deep there too, so you got everything.
Exactly. So it makes perfect sense. And they are becoming that kind of spot. And I will say this, Awesome is becoming somebody that is very respected in this fight game and all around the board. For UFC embedded to come shoot at your stuff, you know what I mean, to allow that stuff to start happening, and these guys don't want to come and showcase your gym, because if they do it at your gym, it's going to get showcased, right? And they want to show that they're working with you and they have this relationship with you. It's only going to get bigger for them. And I'm happy, man. As somebody who came in and was like, and they've been working with guys. Like, I'm not going to say like they haven't, but I feel like this week for them was a big week for them to have all of these guys there working in, and the fighting nerds being there. They're massive. That's right huge. Now.
Yeah, it's huge. They're the new Dagestanis. That's what we've been saying.
Okay. All right.
100% agree. 100% agree. Yeah. With more aura too.
I think this is like a really genius booking by the UFC, Patty Pimblett versus Michael Chandler. And I'm going to touch back on that Yair Rodriguez fight for a second, because this is going to open up a couple of really interesting opportunities moving forward, regardless of what happens. First off, I know you guys were talking about a fight between Diego Lopes and Yair Rodriguez. I think Yair Rodriguez is very far from a title shot right now. He's been finished in his last 2 fights, both on the ground. He has a lot to prove on the ground. But one fight that I don't know why nobody's talking about, but could be huge in the UFC, is the rematch between Pitbull and Michael Chandler. They had 2 amazing fights in Bellator, and now they're both under UFC contract. Michael Chandler is basically out of title contention at this point, or very far off from title contention, and there's a good chance that Paddy's going to beat him. I mean, one thing that concerns me about that fight is Paddy does have good striking, but he tends to strike with his chin wide up in the air, and he has been knocked down before, and he hasn't fought anybody who hits nearly as hard as Michael Chandler. So, I thought he was going to have problems against Bobby Green because of that. Obviously, Bobby Green gave him a gift wrap win by shooting a double on him for no reason whatsoever. And I have a little bit of fear about that, but I do think if it hits the ground, Paddy's going to have a big advantage, and I do believe in his ground game very strongly. But regardless if Chandler wins or loses that fight, it's pretty much just about money fights for him right now, and I think him versus Pitbull could be something that we see in the future for sure. As far as Yair Rodriguez goes, I mean, I don't really know how he fares against Diego Lopes, considering there's now a pretty simple blueprint to beat him, and Diego Lopes is one of the stronger grapplers in the division. So I would imagine if Diego Lopes wins this fight, it would have to be Mosvar next, unless Aljo picks up an impressive win between now and then, because his fight with Mosvar was so close.
Is Aljo even booked for another fight?
I think
No,
he's
not
said,
or
I think he
Arnold
said-
Allen also is somebody who could probably get a title shot with a win.
Yes.
Or maybe Max Holloway even, honestly. If it's Lopez, not Volkanovski.
Yeah. I would love to see Max come back.
Yeah,
We
I
haven't
don't-
heard much from Max since the loss.
Yeah, well, I think he needs to take a mandatory 6 months off after that by Nevada
Yeah.
State Athletic Commission code.
So do we thank Tapor for giving up the belt, that now we have this new life injected into the featherweight division? Now we have all these possibilities and everything, because he was at the top and said, hey, I'm moving up lightweight, drop belt, I'm gone. And now you have all these. Well, what about this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy? Before, when you have a dominant champion at the top, they're just beating, boom, just smacking people away. And it's just, okay, who's the next man up? Nah, there's no chance of that and everything. And you're trying to figure out who to match up this guy with. But now you have this new life that's injected back in there.
Yeah.
So, thank you, Elliot.
I think there's a setup for Marab to become double champ. I don't think he wanted to fight. The two Trojans wanted to fight each other.
That'd be interesting. But I
Because
definitely
honestly,
think
who at 45 is going to beat Marab right now?
nobody. That motherfucker's strong, bro.
I don't know how many guys are going to be able to withstand 55 takedowns.
Yeah.
Huh?
I don't think. 25 minutes of him, bro.
That don't sound like a good nice night.
No, sir. Talk about being sore in the morning.
Maybe most guys.
Get carried all over the cage. No thank. No, no way. No.
100%. But so what you're saying, I would love to see Chandler and Patricio 3. Actually, somebody mentioned that at the press conference when we were just like chatting. And that's a good point, bro. That would be a beautiful fight, and I think it would make sense. It's a good, like you said, Chandler's not really in championship contention. I honestly, in my opinion, don't think he can be. I could be completely wrong. I have been a lot, but it makes sense. It's a big fight. It's a trilogy. Ends it off. We all love trilogies and fights. I think some of the best, the best debacles we've seen have been trilogies, right? Your Triple G Canelo. You got. I'm drawing blanks here right now, but you got a lot. You got a lot of good ones. Anthony Pettis, Vincent Henderson.
Yep.
Shout out Karate Combat for making that happen. We might see a fourth one of that. Who knows? But yeah, and we're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that. Don't worry, we're gonna get to that in a second. But yeah, Michael Chandler 3 would be crazy. I think that would be super dope. And also too, maybe Patricio Pitbull also kind of got one of those. I got that Volkanovski treatment as well out there. I think 2 of the main big guys that were there got the least time talked to them or spoken about them. So
not enough controversial stuff going on.
Yeah, I think Patricio rinses Yair. Yeah, Patricio rinses Yair. And I think next Chandler should fight Patricio. That would be super dope. Because I don't see Patricio losing this to Yair Rodriguez, honestly. And that's another thing too with like Yair talking about. We're talking about the whole thing with Yair and Diego. It's like he's got to get through Pitbull first.
Yeah. They don't look one fight ahead. Look at the man in front of
You
you.
know what I mean? This guy's right here. So yeah, man, it's gonna be interesting, man. But speaking of Benson Henderson, Anthony Pettis 4. The GFL has officially canceled their first 2 dates. And listen, I
So
may
You
have,
don't hear that
so many
phone
pickers.
ringing? Do you hear the
may
phone ringing?
I may
Anybody hear that?
I may have an infamous
so
clip
weird.
on my phone somewhere of MMA pickers saying, "Guys, the GFL
Is that
isn't
the
real."
phone that's ringing? Is it your phone that's ringing?
It's mine. Hold on. Oh,
Oh yeah, no, I figured it was ringing because he called it. The GFL isn't real. You heard it here first.
yeah. So
Now Joe Davis is out of both of his matches, which was also very predictable.
But do we blame Dylan for
No.
this? No,
No.
just kidding.
no, we don't blame
No,
Dylan
no.
for this. We blame
Once.
what they say. We blame the investors who didn't put the money up.
No, we blame
That's-
KSI. He pulled out of
So
the
they
fight.
said they were, no. I mean, not the Dennis part. As far as the
Oh,
GFL.
okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Yeah,
according
no,
to the GFL,
The
investor
GFL
money
was never
fell
real.
through. Yeah. Investor
It was
money
never
fell
real.
through. We don't know if it was real investor money or not. We don't know how that actually worked. I'm not in the GFL. I really don't have many contacts with them. We know Robin Black. That's our guy. He worked with us at Karate Combat. Pretty sure he'll still be coming back to Karate Combat as well, especially with this going on. But like that's the only real
And now
connection
we
I
can
have
get
there.
Robella for a real fight.
Yeah. So now, yeah. That would be nice to get. Maybe Robella's a good contender, seeing if that he might not be fighting for a while for them. So yeah, it is very interesting, man. Like it's been a lot of controversy around this league since the beginning. I mean, the structure was a little odd, you know. Then they did this draft thing, and then it was that the draft was fixed, and it wasn't a real draft. It was just kind of like a show kind of situation. So it's like a lot of that, and then you have these dates that get put out. It was going to be in LA. It was a pretty decent venue. And there's pretty good hype around it, right? As well. And then you have this come through and the investors fall through. And this was supposed to happen in May, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was like the 24th and the 25th of May. So it was like right around the corner.
Yeah, I would say it's coming up quick.
Yeah, and so and with me, it's like you kind of got to have your money for your first show before you book the dates.
Yeah.
You know,
Because so many things can happen.
Forget about book them, announce them.
Exactly. And I say this because of the fact of it's your first show.
Right. You want to impress. You want to set set the tone right and everything.
There you go. Nah, Mal, elaborate because I know you want to get into this. Come on.
Well, I mean, so I'm gonna throw it to you real quick. I guess the investors weren't brave, which is a good segue to mention our sponsor.
Brave browser, if you like safe and privacy browsers, and you like a VPN built into your thing, you don't like ads on YouTube, use Brave browser because that is the official sponsor of motherfucker the Warriors Voice, baby. Shout out my boy for that segue. Back to my boy Mal.
So I was I was hopeful for this. Like I got a message from Robin the night of the draft because I remember seeing some stuff on Twitter about it, and I completely forgot about it. I was doing something else, and I was like, "Oh, wait, this is still going on, right?" And I kind of looked at it and everything, and I was like, "Oh, this could be something." I'm excited about it, and I went through the whole list to see who's, there were rumors, and then who's official, who's here, who's in this league, and I'm like, what? So I started asking myself, would I pay money to watch this fight? Would I pay money to watch? And like, yeah, for some of these guys, yeah, I absolutely would. I would pay attention to it. I would be engaged. So I gotta say, when I got the text that between us that this was canceled, I was like, the first thing I did is I went to Ariel's page. I was like, let me make sure this is because one person could say something and there's a rumor and then it's not true, but I want to do that. And I gotta say, I really had a feeling of disappointment. This game, even though shout out to Pickers, he called it. He called it a long time ago, but it was like when like it was one of those things. I wish it weren't true. I was like, I believe it.
It's probably not true, folks.
Unfortunately, I mean, it's the 835th time this has been proved to me in my life that So,
The
man,
GFO was like a nice man in a van with candy.
Mm-hmm.
It's never candy.
Give me a second.
Yeah, do your thing. Now, the interesting part about this is, right, like I said, first impressions are everything. You wanna, if you're starting off like this, right, you wanna be able to give a great impression. And this already, like we said, all of the controversy before it, this doesn't set a great impression. And where do you go from here? Like that's my question, right? Pickers, like, are you able to recoup, people's attention and garnish their eagerness to want to watch this based off of kind of these like bad steps in the beginning, right? These missteps of kind of not like hitting the 5 P's, right? Proper planning and preparation to make sure you have a good performance, right? Uh,
Well, I mean, let me ask you a question.
okay.
I'm sure you're familiar with Fire Festival, right?
Yes, sir. 100%.
Okay.
I
Well,
wouldn't go to number two.
the vendors didn't get paid, the athletes didn't get paid, the venues didn't get paid, the marketing people didn't get paid. Would you go to Firefest 2? And if you wouldn't, why would you go to GFL 2?
Yeah, you're right. Now, listen, I would go to Firefest too only if Billy McFarland gave me free tickets because he did fight at Karate Combat IFC. So I did get a chance to meet this motherfucker. He's actually, I don't know, man. I don't think he's a bad guy overall.
Dude, I want to fight
to your
Billy
point,
in IFC. He deserves to get punched in the face. He wants
my
to.
homie
If he wants
JJ
to
ain't
fight
fought him.
an overweight fat guy in the middle of the pit who should be an easy knockout for him, let him know I'm game.
I mean, I'm pretty sure he fought at heavyweight, so it wouldn't be too
That's
far
fine.
fetched. Yeah. But
I would
back
love
to
to punch that guy in the face.
back to the prompt. Yes, I wouldn't buy Fire Festival 2 tickets, right? And to be honest, I don't know if people actually purchased tickets. Did they sell tickets? Like, did they put tickets on actual online?
Yeah,
Wow,
he claims that he got 500 inquiries for his $1 million package. I want to see the receipts for that.
interesting.
I'm sorry, but
Yeah.
if you have $1 million, there's no way you're dumb enough to buy that.
Nah, I'm not. I'm not doing that. I don't think it's anything. I don't think it's any experience except for like going to Mars or some shit that I'm willing to pay $1 million for, bro.
Well, their venue that they advertised has actually confirmed that they're not booked there also, and they're only about a month and a half out, so they're already having major problems. But yeah, point being, if you wouldn't go to Fire Festival 2, I'm not going to put GFL quite on par with Fire Festival because Fire Festival had like hundreds of people show up to essentially a refugee camp and basically trap them there for days on end. But as far as like not paying your vendors, not paying your athletes, not actually being able to produce the event that you promised everyone you could produce, why is there a reason to trust them again?
Yeah, 100%. I agree, and it's also too is like, who are your investors? Because and do they believe in what you're doing? Because and that's
Do
where I
they
guess it
exist?
is exactly, and it's either that or right. They're looking at what you guys are doing and maybe the sentiment around it, and now maybe they're a little skittish on if they want to put the money up or not. Right? They're a
And who could
little
win?
hesitant on if they want to, go through with this and actually put the money up. Dude, it's so hard doing this. I just want to say real quick, it's like 9 boats of women in bikinis that has rolled past me in the last 5 minutes. And it is super hard to just stay focused right now, right?
I hear
But
you,
yeah,
bro. I don't have that problem. It's fucking 40.5 degrees and raining here. B, I
I'm
have
so
the
sorry.
most
I'm not.
in the world, and everybody looks like dog shit compared to her.
Yo, listen, I am just ADHD heavy, so like I you know me, man. I go to places, but yeah,
Dude,
that's vote
I
number
wish I
11
was
right
next to you. It's freezing here, but I got my free XRP sweater. You see, keep me warm.
there. Let's go XRP, baby. Well, speaking of crypto, speaking of stuff like that, yo, shout out our other sponsor, Karate Combat. If you don't have the Karate Combat app right now, go download it. You can download it on the App Store on Apple or Google Play. You get it. Download it, give you free 88 tokens. You use those tokens to vote on your favorite fighters or rule changes in the league, whatever you want. We got a lot of stuff to happen. Even you can vote on fight of the night bonuses that we have posted up. So get in there. You can get your free karate token. You can also add some more karate token. Follow Karate Combat on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all of that. They have a fight coming up May 2nd, Dubai. Karate Combat 54 is going to be insane. A completely stacked card with a lot of heavy hitters that have big followings. So it should be a really heavily viewed card, and I see a big turnout out in Dubai. So shout out our other sponsor, Karate Combat. They've been with us since the beginning. I was our first sponsor, and they've always been here. Shout out them. They've always been super supportive of us. So yeah, shout out that though. And XRP. I love XRP. XRP been around for a minute. Shout out to people who got in early on that, man.
74 cents. Let's go.
Let's go, dude.
I didn't even know
All
what
right.
XRP was when I bought it. It's one of the guys at the crypto convention told me I had to buy it, so I just listened. And he gave me a sweater.
Sometimes those turn out to be the best things you listen to, brother.
That's all you got.
So, where do we go from here, man? We kind of touched on the UFC press conference. We touched on the fights.
What do you think about the Dominic Reyes fight? It's a super interesting fight. Dominic Reyes obviously gave the GOAT the toughest challenge he ever had, then went on a losing streak, but now he's on a nice little win streak, and he's fighting another guy, Nikita Krylyov, who hasn't been around in a while, but he's also on a 3-fight win streak. Do you think the resurgence of Dominic Reyes is good enough to beat Nikita Krylyov, and how much do you think Nikita Krylyov's time off will affect him?
It's tough, man. Time off it's a hit or miss. Like, you got guys like John Jones who could take time off all the time and come back looking like nothing changed. And you got some guys who take time off and they come back and they look slower, right? They look sluggish. They don't look as clean as they once were. And also the MMA overlay and landscape changes, right? In a year, things could completely flip. So the type of way you were fighting last year compared to this year may be totally different based off of who's at the top. Everybody's game plan is based off of taking the guy out at the top, right? So regardless of who they have to fight to get in a way, I think in the back of your mind, you're always looking at that guy that's at the top, or the top three guys, focusing on what they're all good at and kind of making sure you're good at that when you get to the top, or know how to defend it. So it's tough, man. Dominic is he's been around forever. We all love Dominic. He's a company guy. He's really put it down. He's only has 4 losses in his career. It's like 14-4. It's tough, man. I love him, and it also, so another great thing is you got a southpaw versus an orthy, right? So that that leaves a lot of openings. That leaves a lot of different
Body Shot City.
A lot of opportunities for a lot of just big shots, brawls. I don't know, man. I honestly want to say Dominic gets this one. Kind of like home soil. Dom's been out here for a while. He's a USA guy. It's tough, man. I see Nikita. Nikita looked good. I like to make my picks after the weigh-ins and shit. And I looked at the weigh-ins.
A weigh-in can affect everything.
Yeah, he looked real good. He looked amazing, and I don't know, bro. I probably, if I had to put my money on it, I'd go with Dominic Reyes. I just, a year off is really tough, and in that division too, heavyweight, you got to think of how much changed. Like heavyweight went from just a heavy striking division, heavy striking one to now Muhammad Makai. I meant Muhammad. Not Muhammad Makayev. He's in fucking Karate Combat. What's this guy's name that I just fought? Alex Pereira. I can't think of it right now.
Uncle Live.
Uncle Live.
Big
Big Angtown. He's at the top now. You know what I mean? So it's a lot of it's changed, right? So I don't know, man. Dominic's a G too, bro. He's been in those deep waters. He's fought the best of the best forever. He's a tough motherfucker, bro. It's tough.
I think he's having a nice Cody Garbrandt career resurgence. We saw him go on a little run there. Right before Figgy knocked him clean out.
That was rough. But yeah, man. Yeah. I honestly, if I put my money on it, if I were making a parlay, lining it up, I'm definitely going with Dominic Reyes. Also, shout out Dan Ige is on this card as well, fighting Sean Woodson.
That's a great fight.
Right, great fight. Ige, Couture boy. Also one of the I would say the MVP of UFC 300. Or 303 was it? 303.
Yeah, the MVP of 300. His name was Max Holloway.
Max Holloway, yes, he is. He definitely.
That was the MVP of 0 through
year.
300.
Yeah, that was the year.
That was
Bro.
one of the best knockouts ever. Period.
It will remain. The fact that I got to see that live, it will remain embedded in my brain. I think if I lost every memory, if I got brain damage, that would be the only thing that stayed in my brain, bro.
Yeah, it would be impossible for that to leave your brain.
100%. But yeah, so Ige was definitely the MVP of 303 save. That he actually fought Diego Lopes, which was or hold on, did he fight Diego Lopes or Diego Lopes didn't fight? Which one was it?
Who? Ige?
Yeah,
Ige fought Lopez at
he
catchweight.
fought Lopes, and Lopez.
Ige stepped in on 24 hours notice, or 2 hours notice. I'm sorry, and it
Oh,
was the
yeah.
shortest notice fight ever accepted in North
Yep.
American MMA history.
I was at my homie Keith Berry's house. He came home from training at Extreme Couture and was like, Ige's on 303. And I was like,
Nuts.
no, he's not. I was like, no, he's not. He's like, yeah, he just accepted it like 2 hours ago after we finished hard sparring.
Yep.
So that's how much of a G he is. He just finished hard sparring and went and hopped on one of the biggest stages hours later.
Imagine that you're going home to watch UFC on your couch, chill with your wife, eat some popcorn, and then you get the call. Oh, wait, never mind. You're in the freaking third to main event. You're on the main card.
Like
Nuts.
you're like on a big card. You're on the supposed Conor McGregor.
Showering from working out, your phone rings, you pop your head out. Oh, yeah, you want me to fight tonight? All right.
I don't even think he left the gym, dude. Like
What
I
a
think it was literally at the gym. I think they either called Eric or him at the gym.
I really want to bet on him because he's such a gangster, but I'm just so impressed with Sean Woodson's boxing. His counter grappling is getting so good. His footwork's getting so good. He's so good at using his length, and his frame for the division is just ridiculous. What is that? 6'1", 6'2", something crazy like that.
Yeah, he's linky as shit.
At 170 minus 170, I got Sean Woodson.
Yeah, Sean Woodson. I
like Woodson by decision though, because Ige is durable.
100%. Woodson reminds me of Shazam. Like he's just very massively tall for that fucking division. And it's just like he towers over people when he fights. I love Sean Woodson. Sean Woodson is one of my favorite guys to watch fight. Very weird build. Very weird build. I think if I was a fighter, I would look like Sean Woodson. So that me saying weird build means myself as well, right?
It's good weird.
Yeah, it's good weird. Also, I want to hear your thoughts on this one because I know this one is a good one for you. Shout out my boy Shadrikas. I forgot Shadrikas Dumas is on this fight. That's my boy. But the one I wanted to talk to you about real quick, Chase Hooper and Jim Miller. You have the young versus the old.
Mm-hmm.
The new versus the legends, right? Jim Miller 38-18 against Chase Hooper 15-3. Chase Hooper is another one of those ones like Austin Bashy, just looks absolutely innocent, but he's an absolute savage in the ring. One of those guys that I feel like I have.
He got jacked, dude. He got freaking jacked as hell in this last 3 fights. I don't know what the hell they're feeding him, but he everyone joked he looked like Spider-Man before. Now he really looks like an action hero. Like, it's nuts. And his striking's really come along too. We've seen some really good boxing from his end, some really good kicks, and it's making it much easier for him to set up his ground game. So I'm really, really on a high with Chase Hooper lately, and I think he's a dark horse in the division right now to be ranked very soon.
100%. And that's just literally what I'm about to say is I think out of the young guys, Austin Bashy, Chase Hooper, Peyton Talbot, all of these younger guys coming up, I think he has the most potential in my opinion. He's the most potential to kind of get to that championship status and really have longevity. I see him being like a Max Holloway, bro. They didn't come in the same type of style or you know what I'm saying, orientation of how they fight, but I see similarities and they're coming in the company young, learning and building on yourself, everything like you say. He's getting massive. He's getting like the same thing. Like when those guys like that, you can tell like they really want to get to it, right?
Oh,
like,
he's clearly working his ass off.
Yeah. And we see it in other fighters. Like we see it all the time in karate combat. Every time I see Shazam, this motherfucker's bigger. I'm like, how, dude? Like, and he's just getting just more chiseled and more. And I think a lot of the guys over there are working on their power as well. So it's like Chase Hooper, definitely somebody I think everybody should be keeping their eyes on now. I mean, I wouldn't put it past it in maybe like a year or two, putting in a future prop of him being the champ at the end of the year, could hit. I don't know, but also don't want to discount Jim Miller
Wait,
at all.
wait, wait. Sorry. I nodded my head on autopilot. What did you just say?
I said
I'm gonna make you
maybe
repeat that out loud.
I said being a future champ, like putting in a future bet in about a year or two.
Okay. I thought you said
Yeah.
he'll be champ by the end of the year, and I was about to go
Oh
off
no,
on you.
a year or two. No. He's not
We're
even
okay.
ranked yet, is he?
We're okay. You scared me.
No. He's not even ranked yet. He's got to get in the rankings first.
Yeah, I hear you. No, for sure.
Yeah.
100. Okay, we're on the same page.
Yeah. 100%. Bro, he's fought anybody. Like really, like he's fought Clay Guida, Jordan Levitt. Like
How good was that Clay Guida fight, though? He looked
it looked
like
amazing.
flow state. You know, that's what a flow
Yeah.
state is. Him versus
Yeah.
Clay Guida. You want to see someone in their flow state? Watch that fight.
And Jordan too. He subbed them both in the first round. Like he subbed both of them in the first round. It was absolutely
He
amazing.
just
That's
got
why I'm
that
like,
new age, like nogi, like American jiu-jitsu style that I don't think a
Yep.
lot of people in the UFC have. You know, he'd be like messing with the dudes at what's that crazy gym that Eddie Bravo runs, 10th Planet. That's the kind of crap he pulls that kind of crap off in MMA, which is crazy.
insane, bro. Absolutely insane, man. All right. I know it's like, let me see. Any more honorable mentions on this fight card? I mean, Cedric Dumas, that's my gosh. Definitely want to see him fight. Oh, let's talk about this shit. I think we're all in agreement, and if you're not in agreement, fuck you. But Tory Finney, whatever his name, get him out of here, man.
Torres.
Get him out of here, bro. I'm sorry, bro. I do not want to see somebody who's getting fucking how many significant strikes, MMA figures?
4.
4 in 3 rounds. 15 minutes, you landed 4 significant strikes. Mind you, you
We
wrestled,
talk about
fucked
the
him.
base judge who gave Valentine a 30-27. I want this dude's name so I can send him flowers. He deserves it.
He was a boxing judge too, so that's what they tried to use. Like, well, he's a boxing judge, so it was a lot of grappling going on. I guess he just didn't know how to judge
It
it.
was
But
like the barest minimal amount of damage on the ground. I say 30-27 Torres Finney. But you can't do nothing. This is
he
a
did
fight. Like you have to do
nothing.
some level of damage or have
And then,
a single submission attempt or something.
I
Just
know
hugging someone and standing there is not winning a fight. That's just not losing a fight.
Yeah.
And like if Valentine lands to triple the amount of strikes that you land every round, even if they're bent over strikes punching you because you're pinning him to the cage, like that should be a win right there. And I'm glad that most of the judges at least gave him round 3, but holy cow. I mean, a precedent needs to be set here.
100%.
Honestly,
You
I
know
wouldn't
what?
want him to be fired. I want you to just go ahead right away, feed him to a killer right off the bat.
Somebody
Don't
who can
work him
wrestle
out.
and fight.
Give
Wrestle.
him a ranked fight.
Yeah, just give him to the Wolves, bro.
Yep. Just throw him to Kamzat. Throw him right to Kamzat.
Joaquin Buckley.
Joaquin Buckley's a division down.
Ah, damn.
Give him Kamzat. No.
Oh, Kamzat will fucking mad at him, bro. But I'll tell you this. I know Dana was like, fuck. Like, I should have never gave him a contract, bro. I knew it. Because if you know anything about this motherfucker, he fought like 3 or 4 times on DWCS.
3.
He wasn't impressive.
The third fight he was. He got a good sub in the first round in the third fight.
Yeah, the third fight. But every fight before that, it was just the same thing. It was wrestle fucking for 15 minutes.
And barely winning.
Barely winning. So it's like, bro, like you have to bring some type of excitement level. We don't need guys coming in and bringing these boring ass fights. You know what I mean? Like it just is what it is. Like we're trying to do things to increase the viewership. You're not helping at all. You know? You're just not helping. So either get your striking up, bro, or get out of UFC. It's the ultimate fighting championship. Ultimate fighting. Like you have to know fucking everything. And that means you need to know how to strike. You have to know how to fight. A wrestling is not a fight. I'm sorry. All right? It's not fighting. You need to know how to fight. And I don't like it. It's trash. I'm not for it. If I wanted to watch wrestling, I'd go watch WWE or fucking ADCC. But I'm watching UFC. I want to see you land some strikes. I want to see you. Dude, I swear to pickers, if I'm lying, I'm fucking flying, bro. I looked at my girl before the first round starts. I look at her and I say, overhand shoots immediately. What does he do immediately? Overhand shoot. Like, bro, if I can know that before you even do it, then that means you're too predictable, and it means you only have one game plan. Because the moment that man threw any punches out, I say, oh yeah, he's not even quick enough to dodge them shits.
And he's
He really
5'6". Everybody towers over him. So when he's in the striking exchanges, he's at such a reach disadvantage. It's hard for him to connect anything. But why couldn't you fire off some ground and pound or something? You got into so many dominant ground positions, you couldn't get like
I think it was
more
terrified
than
of
10
losing the
strikes on the
position.
ground.
Yeah, I think it was just scared of losing the position. Like, and it was weird because
When
like,
you
bro,
lose the last round like that, like at least you literally just smothered the guy for 14 minutes of control time. That's a different discussion. But like you lost the last round, you didn't even try to win it. You just stood
Yeah.
there and pinned him against the cage. You didn't try to return fire. You didn't try to block his strikes. Nothing. You just stood there and pinned him against the cage for 5 minutes straight. And you got pulled off by the ref. What, 3 times, 4 times? That's like what I do when I'm losing in UFC online and I'm just trying to be a troll. I just start spamming takedowns. You know,
yeah,
that's not what you're supposed to
exactly.
do with your actual UFC career.
No, not
I mean,
at
he
all,
won the
brother.
fight,
So
though. I'll give him that.
yeah, he won it. Not in exciting fashion. I'll tell you one thing. Dana was on the phone or was leaning over to Sean and Mick like, listen, you better find him a fucking matchup to get him up out of here. Like, I'm telling you, bro, because either one or two things are gonna happen. You're gonna learn how to
Who do you
strike.
give him unranked in middleweight next, if that's actually the plan? Just out of curiosity,
see.
because you're going to have to give him a pretty good wrestler, obviously.
Let me look at that. Oh, you said middleweights.
Well, he's a middleweight, yeah. He ain't making welterweight, I'll tell you that much.
Fuck,
And he's definitely too short for lightweight or heavyweight.
I don't
Really
even
too
know,
short for
bro.
middleweight, too, but yeah.
I don't even know who I would say.
Let's bring back Deron Win.
That would be fire. I don't think it happens though. Let me see divisional rankings. Yeah, because I don't even. Yeah, that's yeah, because I can only get the list of the.
How about that guy who fought oh, that was light heavyweight. I was gonna say Big Zo. That's light heavyweight. Who's that? That debutante. Juice. I forgot his real name.
Oh, then that would be a good fight.
Julius Walker. Yeah, but he's too heavy.
Yeah,
That'd be
big boy.
fun though.
Yeah, man. I don't know, man. I'm not. I'm not excited for his next fight. I'm not
I mean,
excited.
depends who it is.
I
I kind of inclined to root against him at this point.
Yeah, I'm not excited for his side of the fight. How about that? I'm not
I've
excited
seen
for
enough.
what he's gonna.
He's
Yeah,
freakish.
give him. I mean,
Strickland.
yeah, Imavov. Give him somebody who's gonna beat the shit out of him. Shit's crazy, dude. I don't understand how you can even
You know what
think
would be
like.
a good fight for Finney, honestly? Be a good fight for both guys. I can think of 2 or 3 different fights that I'd like to see. And on a more serious note, Action Man needs a fight. He's coming off an L. That could be a
Oh
good
yeah,
fight. He's got pretty good counter wrestling, and he's pretty big and strong too. He should be able to keep him off the wall. RoboCop's going to need a fight soon.
mm, yeah.
RoboCop might be a good
I think
one.
it's on his last fight or his contract too.
Yep. Ikram Aliskerov needs a fight. We could see him try to wrestle fuck Andre Petrosky, see how that works out for him.
Yeah, he'll die. He would
Paul
die.
Craig, another good option.
Yeah, he would definitely. Because the only people that really take Paul Craig out are strikers.
Yeah.
They're
No,
not
yeah.
gonna
Take Paul Craig to the ground. Let's see how that goes.
He'll willingly go with you, brother. Trust me. Willingly. That man wants
Or you
to
want to
go.
go even lower in the rankings? Maybe give him Jacob Malkoun. I bet Jacob Malkoun knocks him out.
Oh, yeah. 100%, man. All right, we're
Is he
giving
still
him
in
too
the
much
UFC, Jacob
airtime.
Malkoun?
I don't know. But I don't want to give this boring ass fighter too much more airtime, man. I think we should go ahead and get to the money of the show, man. We getting around that time. It's gonna be a short show today.
Oh, time for the picks?
Yeah, man. It's gonna be a
Time for the
short
picks.
show today because we don't have an interview today. We're gonna be chilling out. I got some stuff set up for next week though. We should have some cool people on. I want to get Austin back on to talk about this Dubai stuff and maybe give us some backstory and stuff like that. But before we wrap things up, man, if you stuck around this long, you already know what time it is, baby. My boy MMA Pickers is gonna take over, and he's gonna give us our bets of the week. I'm gonna go ahead and pull up ESPN. He's gonna give us his picks, and I will be following along on the Fight Center for you guys. And I'm gonna go ahead and remove.
Oh, wow. That was a quick exit. All right. I got 5 primo picks. We kind of touched on some of them briefly during the show. Let's first off jump over to that Chase Hooper versus Jim Miller fight. And I mean, I touched on the pick already during the show, but just to reiterate, I really like Chase Hooper by sub at minus 120. I think this is a guy who's always looking for the submission first. Yes, he can strike. Yes, he's added some wrestling to his arsenal, but I think all of that is to make it easier for him to find these submissions. I think he's really game. I think he's in his physical prime. I think he's fighting a guy who's obviously beloved, but also we have to face the reality, 40 plus. And I think he finds it within 2 rounds, honestly. I'm really high on Chase Hooper. I know Jim Miller has great jiu-jitsu, but Chase Hooper just has too many tricks in his bag that nobody else has seen. So let's go Chase Hooper by sub, and we're going to lock that in at minus 120. I have 3 underdog picks, actually, that I really, really like for this card, money line. The first one's going to be Darren the Damage Elkins. I mean, holy crap. Darren Elkins is like, if you look up the word durability in the dictionary, it used to be a picture of Max Holloway, RIP, but now it's a picture of Darren Elkins. I mean, this dude literally has damage tattooed on his chest, and it legitimately seems like the more damage you do him, the better he gets. He's like pretty much unchokeable if you watch his last few fights. I mean, he basically reverses every bad grappling position into an advantageous position somehow, and the dude will just move forward like a tank. His striking's not super sophisticated, but he's a top-tier wrestler. He logs tons of control time, and he's able to control you while throwing his hands. I'm not saying he's a lock to win the fight by any means, but at plus 250, I think those are criminal odds. I mean, I've been impressed with Darren Elkins time and time again. I've probably bet on him 6 or 7 times at this point. I'm trying to pull up his record here. I know his last few fights have gone the distance, so I'm looking at a Darren Elkins by decision prop because I want to add in here last minute. Let's see. Yeah. So Darren Elkins by decision is plus 550. And listen, Julian Erosa, we've seen strong sub game from him. He's going to be the taller fighter with more reach. He definitely has the more sophisticated striking. But I think if Darren Elkins can consistently find the takedowns, which Julian Erosa has not been hard to take down, he's just tricky with the submissions on the way down. But that's something I think Darren Elkins is very well equipped to deal with. I could see Darren Elkins winning a decision to lock in a ton of control time. So we'll throw a little money on Darren Elkins by decision, plus 550, and the official pick will be Darren Elkins as the underdog at plus 250. Okay, on to the next one. Let's take a look at that Tresean Gore versus Tulio fight. There's another dog I really like. Tresean Gore at plus 300 is like absolutely wild. I mean, you know, this is a guy who's, first of all, let's give him credit. He's down to fight anybody. I mean, he was down to fight Bo Nickel. He doesn't say no to fights. This guy fought, I believe, the winner of Tough as well, and ninja choked him. Tresean Gore is an absolute dog. He's shown a good proclivity for striking. He has some very creative submissions. That inverted ninja choke is specifically coming to mind again when I bring that up. And he has wins by all 3 methods, so he's definitely very versatile. I think it was Anthony Tricoli who he choked out in a round. And that was like that, if you guys remember, that big 6'5" middleweight. Antonio Tricoli, excuse me. I'm sorry. He got ninja chokes on Tricoli and Josh Friend. So watch out for that ninja choke. He did get KO'd by Cody Brundage, and he did drop a decision to Brian Battle. But at this point, that's already 3-4 years ago, so I'm not super worried about it. Obviously, outside of the UFC, he's stellar. I believe he only had wins on The Ultimate Fighter as well. He was undefeated on The Ultimate Fighter, undefeated amateur career. I mean, this guy has basically dropped 2 fights his entire career. One to Brian Battle, who's an animal. And the Cody Brundage one, let's just say he got caught with a rough shot, and that was years ago. I think the justification to bet on him is pretty good at plus 300. But to give some credit to his opponent, I mean, he made short work of Ihor Porteria. He looked really, really good on Contender Series. He has some really tricky punching, and I do think he should be the favorite in this fight. But given Tresean Gore's experience, level of experience, strength of opponent, strength of schedule, I think plus 300 is outrageous, and I find a lot of value in that line. So I am going to rock with Tresean Gore at plus 300 and possibly hedge on Tulio by a knockout. Next one up, we definitely touched on this one during the show. Pitbull is sitting at plus 165. I think there's a very simple blueprint to beat Yair Rodriguez. Take him down and punch the shit out of him. That's what his last two opponents have done. Granted, his last fight he did get choked out, but that's how the choke got set up. Volkanovski took him down, ground and pound, done. This is something that Pitbull has shown an ability to do throughout his career. I do think he'll be the much better grappler between the two. I do think this is an option for him. I also think although Yair has trickier striking and better volume, Pitbull has a lot more stopping power. And Pitbull also has a lot more submission ability. I don't know how exactly it goes down. I don't have a strong prediction. My gut is telling me ground and pound knockout for Pitbull, but I really like Pitbull at plus 165. Winning this fight opens a lot of doors for him. It throws him right into the UFC rankings, puts him in line for a title shot, puts him in line for a big trilogy fight against Michael Chandler. So I think this is pretty high stakes for him, and I think he's going to come game and ready to kill. We talked about this during the show also. Odds are coming down on Silva. A lot of money coming in on Bryce Mitchell. Silva by KO, plus 100. That's a great bet. Yes, Bryce Mitchell looked phenomenal against Kron Gracie. They gave him Kron Gracie because his stock was falling. And Kron Gracie is one of the few fighters in the UFC who, because of his family name, literally refuses to strike. He will not strike with his opponents because he needs to prove Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. So you're basically giving him a handicap fight where the other guy can't strike. I think he came in as like a minus 1,000. The guy's just going for crazy subs on his back the whole time, not even getting close. And then Bryce Mitchell gets a slam knockout while the guy pulls guard. I don't think that's enough of a justification to say he's going to choke out Gene Silva. I think people are having memories of Bryce Mitchell 3-4 fights ago before Emmett and Topuria took turns sending him into the shadow realm. I don't know that the chin is going to be there. I really like Gene Silva's footwork. Yes, he got taken down in the Charles Jourdain fight. He also got up 3 times pretty quickly. He never got held down. And yes, Charles Jourdain is not the wrestler that Bryce Mitchell is, of course, but I mean, he's a big dude. He's a whole weight class up, and he's got much better striking to be able to set up his takedowns. At the end of the day, Gene Silva needs to find you once with a touch of death. One sloppy entry is all it takes, and I do think he's going to be significantly easier to knock out than a guy like Drew Dober, where Gene Silva literally punched out his hands on Dober's chin and had to switch to elbows. That being said, the official pick, Gene Silva, knockout, plus 100. I won't be betting on Bryce at all because I'm biased, but I would imagine a submission or a decision from Bryce would be a decent hedge on that. If you can get plus odds for betting either Bryce submission or decision or Gene Silva by KO, you should be able to because Gene Silva by KO is at plus 100, and then Bryce by submission or decision, given that Bryce is already at plus 170, should be, let's check. This is my unbiased bet. My biased bet is bet at the house on Gene Silva. Let's see. We have Gene Silva, Bryce Mitchell, and winning method, double chance. Bryce Mitchell, submission or decision comes in at plus 240. So that's really not a bad hedge. If you can double up your money on Gene Silva by knockout with plus 100, and then you can throw like a half to a third on that on those two things, that'll at least cover if Bryce gets the win. And then if Gene wins, you don't win 2-1, but you win 1.5 to 1 pretty safely. So just a nice hedge there. If you guys want to touch on that, if you want to ride on Gene Silva, that's what I'm doing. Okay. And the last pick, I saved for the best pick for last. And a lot of people are going to hate on me for this, and I'm sorry in advance. And I only say this as a capper, not as a fan. Lopes, money line, plus 130. I freaking love it. I love Volkanovski like everybody else. He's one of the greats. He's one of the GOATs, pound for pound. Hit the number one at one point. But recent performances have not been good. He has been blasted into the shadow realm repeatedly. He has been fighting for a long time. He has accumulated a lot of damage. And generally, as a rule of thumb, especially when it comes to like a big age gap between two fighters, when there's a fighter whose stock is surging up and there's a fighter whose stock is plummeting down, I have to go with the surging guy, especially at underdog money. Diego Lopes has looked fantastic. He's shown big power in the hands, had a 13-second knockout of Sadiq Youssef. He's shown the ability to secure first-round submissions. He put up a grappling clinic against Mosvar Evloev, got a split decision loss on like 6 days' notice for his UFC debut. He's been nothing but immensely impressive since he got to the UFC. He's younger, he's fitter, his chin's in better condition, he's taken a lot less damage. He's possibly even more well-rounded. Physically, he's coming in taller, bigger. I'm going to hate to watch it. I'm going to be happy my ticket cashes, but I got to go with Lopes over Volk. And everybody, if I'm wrong about this, please give me as much shit as possible next week. Thank you. That's all for my picks. I hope we all make some money and we eat good. And,
I'm gonna give you shit. I'm gonna give you shit if he wins. You know it.
That's fine.
I need
I'll
it.
be
I need
happy
it.
to get that shit because the fan side of me is dying for Volk to get the win.
Oh, dude, I need this win for him, man. Honestly, to answer me this though, but we'll end it off on this last question. Volk wins or loses, do you think maybe he retires here?
I think if he loses, he should retire. He hasn't done a non-title fight since I think like 2018 or 2019. I don't want to see him start doing it.
Yeah, me neither. Well, that's how we end it. I think he may retire, and that's one of the reasons why I fought so hard to try to get tickets for this one. I think it may be his farewell tour. So, yeah. But we're going to end it on that note, man. Shout out our sponsors, Brave Browser and Karate Combat. Shout out my co-hosts that were here today, MMA Pickers and Mallory Woods. My boy Mac Tyson couldn't be here today, but pretty sure he'll be back next week. We will be starting up our Karate Combat breakdowns next week. So if you're ready to get on, I think we'll start with the prelims next week. We'll do a full breakdown of the prelim card. And then the week before the fights, we'll go ahead and do a full breakdown of the main card. And yeah, we'll get those to you. So be on the lookout for that. Shout out Pickers First Picks. Shout out all of you guys who listen and tune in all of these episodes, man. We love you guys. Oh, shit. We didn't even talk about McGregor.
Yeah. It's McGregor.
It's See you later, guys. Until next time, this is the Warriors Voice. I'm King Apollo. That's MMA Pickers. And we out of this, John. Deuces.